Ezekiel, Jeremiah. Today, we're going to watch a video together. I hope that you guys, as you age, grow older, from your toddler to your teens to your adulthood to where I'm at in my life. Your priorities will change, right? What's important will change, but it's always good to have a sound basis to the recipes of success. In the recent past, I've allowed my mind to get clouded, my judgment on what is success to be influenced in a way where I have to find my way. And in the process of finding my way, I want to be able to memorialize this in video to share it with you. Some things you will hear should you visit when you are younger will not make sense. But as you build learning upon learning and upon learning, and as you gather wisdom, all of this will make sense. Many people will define for you what success is. Do not listen to them, whether they be men or whether they be women. You will need this, and the recipe of success is much simpler than what many will have you believe. So, let's spend 11 minutes and 43 seconds together and share this video together. Here we go, boys.
Blessed is he who has found his work. Let him ask no other blessings. Most people work for one reason: to earn money to purchase the goods and services that promote survival and enjoyment of life. But for others, the act of work provides its own rewards. Their work gives them purpose and imbues life with joy, satisfaction, and feelings of accomplishment. Those in this latter class can be said to have found their work. And in this video, we are going to explore how we can be one of these fortunate few. We are going to discuss, in other words, how we can attain the ideal of not only finding an intrinsically rewarding form of work, but also how we can become so good at it that through it, we can support ourselves financially. To begin, we need to choose what to do with our life. Do we want to start a tech company, become a musician, an artist, a scientist, a mathematician, a travel writer, a professor, a nature photographer, a video editor, or a brewer of beer? The choices are endless. For some, an answer to this question is easy. But if we are lacking a passionate calling, we should recognize that a passion is not necessarily something we discover, but something we cultivate. To cultivate a passion, we should determine the fields of work that align with our natural talents and the strengths of our character. For as Tom Rath writes in Are You Fully Charged? Unless your goal is to be mediocre at a lot of things, starting with what you are naturally good at is a matter of efficiency. Focusing on strengths is, in many ways, a basic time allocation issue. Every hour you invest in an area where you have natural talent has a multiplying effect, whereas each hour you spend trying to remedy a weakness is like working against a gravitational force. When we have narrowed down the options suited to our character, simply picking one that resonates with us and striving for excellence in this chosen field can lead to the cultivation of a passion. To move us in this direction, however, we need something to aim at. For as Lanny Basham notes in his book With Winning in Mind, goal setting is an important driver of success. A habit that separates the top 5% of competitors who win from the other 95% who just play is the practice of carefully setting goals. Most people never set them. Only the super successful ever bother to set personal goals and plan their work. Our goal should be difficult, as facing up to challenges is how excellence is attained. But the goal should also be achievable so as not to set us up for failure. Furthermore, the goal should be attainable within the next 12 months, as goals too distant in the future often fail to exert the needed motivational pull. After selecting a goal, we can then use it to help us create a system that, if adhered to on a near daily basis, will generate success. What this requires is that we identify the habits we need to cultivate, how much work we need to put in, and what character traits and skills we need to develop. The specifics of our system will depend on how we answer these questions, on our vocation, our end goal, and the other demands of our life. But whatever our situation, there are 3 fundamental elements that should be optimized for when constructing this daily system. Amazing breakthrough, writes Matthew Walker. Scientists have discovered a revolutionary new treatment that makes you live longer. It enhances your memory and makes you more creative. It makes you look more attractive. It keeps you slim and lowers food cravings. It protects you from cancer and dementia. It wards off colds and the flu. It lowers your risk of heart attack and stroke, not to mention diabetes. You'll even feel happier, less depressed, and less anxious. Are you interested? Walker is referring to sleep, the first of these 3 elements to optimize. The psychologist Anders Ericsson, in his research on peak performance, discovered that a distinguishing feature that demarcates the world's best performers from those who are sub-elite is that the former rest far more than those in the latter group. When well rested, we are more physically capable, better able to concentrate, more creative, and able to work harder and for longer durations. We should strive to attain 7 to 9 hours of sleep a night, and the following are some tips on how to achieve this life-altering feat. The first tip is to go to bed with a calm mind, as the most common culprits of a difficulty sleeping are psychological in nature. Worry, anxiety, and emotional distress inhibit sleep, and those who suffer from chronic insomnia are typically plagued by these very things. To avoid these psychological sleep inhibitors, we should spend a few hours each evening taking part in relaxing activities, such as walking, meditating, listening to music, or reading. These activities are calming, and as they are passive in nature, they will also allow for any needed emotional processing. But most people take a different approach. From morning till night, they remain glued to their smartphones or other screens, and so never enter the passive state needed to process their days and settle their minds. Or as Walker explains, in this fast-paced, information-overloaded modern world, one of the few times we stop our persistent informational consumption and inwardly reflect is when our heads hit the pillow. There is no worse time to consciously do this. Little wonder that sleep becomes nearly impossible to initiate. A further step we can take to improve our sleep is to avoid alcohol whenever we want a full night's rest. For as a sedative, alcohol radically disturbs natural sleep patterns by fragmenting sleep with brief periods of awakening, while also suppressing REM sleep. A few other tips to improve sleep that Walker offers in his book, Why We Sleep, are to determine whether we are a night owl or an early bird, and to adjust our sleep schedule accordingly. To go to bed and wake up around the same time each day. To sleep in an environment with a temperature of approximately 65 degrees Fahrenheit, or 18 degrees Celsius, and to avoid large meals or beverages a few hours prior to bed. The next element to optimize for is our focus. To gain excellence in any field, we must be capable of exerting a single-mindedness on the cultivation of our skills and the performance of our work. It is practically impossible to learn a domain deeply enough to make a change in it without dedicating all of one's attention to it. Or as Anders Ericsson writes in Peak, if your mind is wandering or you're relaxed and just having fun when practicing your skills, you probably won't improve. But unfortunately, just as our devices are inhibiting our ability to sleep, so too are they inhibiting our ability to focus. Constant notifications, along with an endless supply of mindless distractions a tap away, are turning minds capable of long periods of focus into minds that can barely focus for 5 minutes. But focus, like a muscle, can be strengthened. To do this, we should devote daily sessions to cultivating focus by working or practicing our skills in an environment free from the distractions of smartphones and other devices. We can start small, perhaps 15 minutes of focused work or practice at a time, and over time work up to the 60 to 90 minutes, which is most people's upper limit for a single session of focused work. As we devote more time to cultivating skills and performing our work in a focused manner, we will feel more confident in our ability to attain excellence. And these feelings of self-confidence are directly related to the third element to optimize for, our mindset. For as James Allen wrote, "A man is literally what he thinks, his character being the complete sum of all of his thoughts." If we want to approach the limits of our potential, we need a mind that supports us in this pursuit. If we think like a loser, if we are consumed by doubts, worries, fears, or plagued by never-ending self-hate or self-belittlement, it is unlikely we will ever be great at what we do. We need to think more like a winner, more like a man or woman capable of success. Or as Lanny Basham explains, "We are all born with the seeds of greatness within us. It is my observation, after competing against and teaching the world's best, the primary thing that separates the winners from the others is the way they think. Winners are convinced they will finish first. The others hope to finish first." To change our mindset, it can be helpful to spend some time monitoring our self-talk so as to gain an awareness of how often we are consumed by negative thought patterns. We can then strive to interrupt these patterns by labeling them, saying, "I am having another negative thought," or "There go my worries again," and instead of trying to force these thoughts out of our mind, we can experiment with just accepting them and directing our focus to our breath or some other anchor point. Doing this is a simple but effective way to disrupt these thought patterns from spiraling out of control. Another way to improve our mindset is to make use of affirmations. Affirmations are positive statements repeated on a frequent basis, either by writing them down or stating them internally, which help rewire the mind to more positivity. Affirmations are frequently used by professional athletes. For example, Muhammad Ali is reported to have stated the following: "It's the repetition of affirmations that leads to belief. Once that belief becomes a deep conviction, things begin to happen." But it is not only athletes who benefit from the use of affirmations. Leonardo Da Vinci, one of the great geniuses and polymaths of history, also made use of them, and as Michael Gelb writes, "Although he experienced self-doubt and questioned the value of his efforts, he never gave up. Leonardo's courage and persistence in the face of adversity are tremendously inspiring. He strengthened his will to continue his work through affirmations that he wrote in his notebook, such as, 'I do not depart from my furrow. Obstacles do not bend me. Every obstacle is destroyed through rigor.' Mindset, focus, and sleep. If we can create a system that optimizes for these three elements, our chance of cultivating a financially lucrative and intrinsically rewarding career will vastly improve. We will be well on our way to discovering our work, and so we'll be one of the few who, when all is said and done, can look back on our life with pride. At the end of life, most of us will find that we have felt most filled up by the challenges and successful struggles for mastery, creativity, and full expression of our dharma in the world. Fulfillment happens not in retreat from the world, but in advance and profound engagement.
So, sleep. Should there ever come a time when everything around your doors are shut and you don't even have but two pennies to rub together, shut everything down and sleep. Wake up. Focus your mind. As you get older here, I'm going to challenge you guys to tear away from those little devices that you guys are glued to. They pollute your mind. It is the weak and the feeble that allow children to be able to saturate their lives with such things. At the moment, I don't have the power to exert myself, but I will. I say this for your benefit, but also when you have sons and daughters, that you would help them in this manner as well. They will fight you. They will want to be able to play the Minecrafts of the world. But everything, everything in moderation. You must fill your head with ideas. You must fill your head with words and meaning and wisdom. And in this way, you will become a success. Success will take many forms. It's not just the accumulation of money. And those things too will be added onto you. So, my little commentary in this video you will take with you, but this video also I will have made available. So someday you will use that machine in a proper way that will be a benefit to you. Now remember, people are a resource, people are an asset, but also people are your worst enemies. Guard your heart, guard your mind. I love you guys.